This is the jam mines of Camerton. There used to be a well in the garden. It's not shown on the deeds, long since blocked and ceased to be, until the dry summer of a few years ago. Proper hot it was, from April to September. I wore all my shorts that year, even the ones that had their origins in the 1990s, and were a bit of a tight fit. I loved the warm evenings. I liked to sit out with a beer, you see, especially in the lightest months of the year. I listened to the soundtrack go all sotto voce. The jackdaw babies fed and tucked up for the night, full silent. The thrush, having done a full set and 3 encores, retires to her dressing room. The fluffy white backsides of the deer stroll out into the field for a quiet last snack of buttercups. And the bats, dancing in the shimmering of nightfall, don't make a sound at all. An owl may hoot, but it's only on midsummer murders that foxes shriek every few seconds of every night in every field in the countryside. I'd had one of those warm Friday nights in the 2nd week of June. It was more than 1 beer. It was more than 2. Fed well, I slept well, with a fragrant air wafting past the curtains through a still and silent night. At 5 a.m. on the Saturday, the jackdaws were having a party on the roof. I don't know why they do it, but I do know that nothing is ever the matter. They just like a morning dance. After 3 beers, at my age, I'm less inclined to a morning dance. But I was awake, and at my age, my bladder most of all. So I did the necessary, then had a glass of water, and took a sneak peek at the day. I was expecting a sunrise, a cloud or 2 perhaps, an early squirrel, a newly unfurled leaf, a passing bumblebee, still in his nightshirt. It's rural Somerset, not Piccadilly Circus after all. I saw none of these things. To be honest, had a squadron of bees flown by in red arrows formation, with coloured smoke trailing from their bumbles, I don't think I'd have noticed, because in the middle of my sloping lawn, about 15 feet in length, was a crack so large that the word crack didn't do it justice. It looked like the lightning mark on Harry Potter's forehead. It looked like the kind of tear you'd make if you split open a baguette, except it was clearly 2 feet wide or more and in the middle of my grass. Earthquake! Subsidence! Fracking! Oh, kill the bastards! I thought. But then I noticed the smoke or steam or poisonous gases coming out of the hole. So I did what any normal, sensible, self-respecting householder would do under the circumstances. I put jogging bottoms on over my pyjama trousers, a fleece over the top, slipped on my wellies, fixed on my head torch, and commando crawled the last 10 feet over the grass to look down into the hole. There was a moment when I thought, I hope this doesn't invalidate my claim. But then I reasoned I wouldn't be filling out the forms if it was the life insurance, and I needed something to put on the forms if it was buildings and contents. But the ground seemed firm enough, even on the sides of the fissure. I turned on my headlamp and stuck my head into the gap. To be honest, I said more than was warranted. So, what's down here then? Let's just see if I can make this out. I wonder if I can make this a tourist attraction and piss off the neighbours. None of these comments were warranted because despite the torch and the batteries I had only recently replaced, I couldn't see a thing. It was dark, proper dark. There was heat rising to the surface, I could feel it on my cheeks, but no smoke. After I'd talked myself out of a likely volcanic eruption, lava gushing to the surface and sausages on sticks. Well, I hadn't had my breakfast, had I? I started to relax. I wonder how far down it goes. I wonder if I might drop a coin and hear a splash. I wonder... No, I don't believe in hobbits, soup dragons, fairies and the like. I wonder if there's an echo. Hello! 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 I chanted, until another voice came the other way and said, hello! Back! Well, I almost filled my wellies. Hello, was that a voice? Is there someone down there? Yes, the voice said. There's scrums of us down here. You can't be. Are you trapped? You're not that boys' football team from Thailand, are you? No, the voice said. We're local. I'm John. Pleased to meet thee. Hello, John. I'm Matt. Do you need help? Should I call the police? The fire brigade? Bear Grylls? No, lad, John said. Don't be so soft. You'll need to help us to help yourself. Have they got that? We haven't got a lot of time. Go get yourself a pencil and paper, bring it back to the schlocker, and I'll tell you what we need. Oh, I said, like talking to a pixie down a hole in the garden was part of my Saturday morning routine. Bring it to the what? The schlocker. The schlocker? Schlocker. The hole. This hole, it's what we call them, what we've always called them. How long have you lived here anyway? I've been here about 20 years. What about you? 342. Oh, right, I said. I'll just get the paper then. It wasn't a long list, but it wasn't an easy one either. Jam jars. Easy enough, you might think. It was the quantity. That was the hard bit. Enough jars to fill your house by the 21st of June. Oh, right you are, I said. And I got up and started to walk back to the house before running back to the schlocker and asking a fraction of the questions I should have asked in the first place. What for? Why? Where am I going to get that number of jars? Where am I going to get that kind of time and money? How am I going to explain that to anyone? Then what? Why my garden? Why me? And John told me from start to finish. Coal mining in Somerset, that rich tradition conducted over centuries with mines up and down the county in villages and hamlets strewn with footpaths that took miners to their work day after day, it was all a lie. Sure, there was a bit of coal, and sure it made a profit for the landowners and pit owners of the day. But the batches, the spoil heaps you can see in Radstock, Poulton and Dunkerton, and the two in Camerton you can see out of my kitchen window, they were the point. They gave the impression of a coal mining industry, but it wasn't about coal. Oh no. You, my boy, just happened to live on top of the richest seam in Somerset's mining history. We've been quiet for a while whilst the coal mines were shut down and the railway stations closed, but we're back now, doing what we were put beneath the earth to do. We be miners, all right, mining what we've always mined, the fruit of the land for the good of the land. Congratulations, young Matt. New Pit Cottage is living up to its name, in the first working mine of the 21st century. We're open for business again, the jam mines of Camerton. I learned some lessons, big lessons, history and ecology. I was told that the canals were not to transport house coal to depots and train stations. They were the water supply for the jam mines. Although the jam was mined in ready-to-set form, it was hot work underground and water was needed for a cooling system. Elderflower was added for sweetness. That's why you see so many elderflowers still. They'll be bursting out soon, and apart from a few heads picked for cordial, which is always a bit shit if we're honest, no one knows what to do with them. I learned that the underground harvest allowed above ground fields to be free for grazing or left fallow. All in balance, John said. We'd lost that in the years since he started work. It was one of the reasons why they decided to start production again. And the jam had special properties. It delivered a special kind of calm. The mix of sweetness and bite, like gooseberry and elderflower, was the jam equivalent of a joint back in 18th century Camerton. All of which was nonsense, I thought, until John lobbed a jar onto the lawn. I dipped a teaspoon in and tried a bit. It was nice. I dipped the teaspoon in once more and heard the birds singing like they were singing just for me. I had another spoonful and laughed at the cloud formation. Enough, John called. This is better than cider, I called back. It's what we put in the cider, you twizzled stick. Well, John, my new best mate, I'm in. I took out a loan on the mortgage and 2 weeks off work. I cleaned out Lakeland and ran to every charity shop from here to Shepton Mallet, all in a quest to buy every jam jar within a 20-mile radius. Amazon delivered thousands. I put an APB out on Gumtree. I broke into the recycling plant and repatriated jars from the bottle bank. I filled every shelf and most rooms in the house, and then a week later, John called up to say, "OK, boy, give us what you've got." I spent 9 days ferrying empty jars to the schlocker and full jars to the house. I lost 10 pounds in weight and every spare inch of space in the house. The fridge was full of bread and flora, because toast and jam was all the nourishment I needed. And on the 30th of June at 10 p.m, John called up to say, "Last batch, my boy." "I'm 53, John," I protested. "Still a boy in jam years," he replied. "So what happens now?" I asked. "What do you want me to do with the jam?" "Oh, that's down to you, boy," John said. "We're sure you'll do the right thing." But, I cried, as the last batch of jars was placed in my hands and the entrance to the mine closed again. My lawn repaired itself, just zipped itself together again, and with a hint of an echo, I heard John call, "Good luck!" So what do you think happened next? Do you think I just phoned up Hartley's and sold on an industrial quantity of jam without a manufacturing date, a sell-by date, a list of ingredients, or a factory? Do you think I shared it amongst the communities of Camerton and Dunkerton, Timsbury and Radstock? Have you noticed how we're all so chilled? Do you think I'm a drug baron with a network of dealers in London and Bristol selling tabs of jam on street corners to punters who need a fix? Nothing illegal, nothing narcotic, just the most innocent of foodstuffs. Well, I'm not telling. What I will say is that John has been back every June since then, emptying the jam mines of Camerton and filling my house with jars. I expect to see him in a few weeks' time. In the meantime, I have 1 jar left. I've labelled it gooseberry and elderflower, but you know where it comes from, and you know it's better than cider. I might be tempted to sell it for the right price. If you're interested, come and see me afterwards, or in July, when the jam mines of Camerton will have been mined once again.